Hi and welcome back to 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏. Today guys, we're going to be diving down into the charts, taking a look at what is going on with Harmony 1. We have seen Harmony 1 rising very nicely to the upside and actually is resisting Bitcoin's pullback quite nicely. We're going to jump into charts and see what's going on and what we might expect to happen next here with Harmony 1. As we get into it, if you find it useful and informative, then why not hit the like button? I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and you will be kept up to date with all the videos that we do here at 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏. Right, with that said, done and out of the way, let's jump on down into the charts and take a look at what is going on with Harmony 1. Okay guys, so we're going to start things off with our hourly view here, and we really want to kind of talk about what's going on. So we're just going to start with what's going on down here, right? So this is where things really kind of started. This was pretty much from the low point on the 10th of January, so about 3 days ago. We saw a pretty good rise to the upside here, and we have this as an ABC, but we could also acknowledge that it's a mixture of various different things on different timelines. Now, we're just going to quickly draw this up so you guys can see what I can see here, but ultimately we have an A wave, we have a B wave down, and then we have a C wave up. Nothing unusual about it. It is kind of what it is. Then we obviously had a pullback, and again, that takes it from this high point here at the top of our wave 1 down into the wave 2. Now, and for the most part, we would actually acknowledge that this was starting its life as an A wave to the upside, and then this pullback here is a B wave. We were then looking for a pretty standard C wave move to the upside, but this actually turned impulsive, allowing us to then actually mark this up as a 1 through 5. So obviously once we reached the bottom of wave 2, we started to see this really impulsive move to the upside. There are a couple of pullbacks here, but nothing too major, and we can take a look at those from a percentage point of view. Here we had a 3% pullback, and as we take a look at the next one here, this was slightly more severe. We saw a 5% pullback, but nothing too major. And right at the top here, we can also see that there's a pullback, relatively quick, happened within a couple of hours, just 5.4% there. And obviously now we see Bitcoin pulling us down a little bit as we reach the top. Now, as I zoom out on this impulsive move for wave 3 here, it actually reached a 2.618 extension perfectly, right? We can see that right there on the Fibonacci. So when we actually take this this Fibonacci retracement tool and we run it from our low area of our A1 wave, so wave 1 from the low to the wave 1 high, and we move it over into wave 2, the expectation was to, go for a 1-to-1 ratio. We actually consolidated here for a little bit before taking the surge up to the 1.382 and finding resistance on the 1.618. These are, textbook moves. And once we pushed past the 1.382, that effectively turned this impulsive. We had that small 5% pullback, and then bam, we continued that surge to the upside, passing the 1.618, surpassing the previous 33-cent high that we had on our 5th wave over here, and then continuing up into this range of 36.4 cent on the 2.618. okay, so right there we can see that. Now we're starting to see this reversal. Now what's really important about this is we are expecting a 4th wave pullback. This actually starts to be forming here. This is actually a pretty decent pullback with wave 4, and my expectation is to kind of take this down in towards this this really low area. So when we actually put on a retracement from that low area of wave 2 and the high area of wave 3, we can start to see all these retracement zones, right? The 618 is probably the most probable area that we always talk about, 702, the 786, but this would be a really, really deep correction. Okay, still valid to go all the way down to the 786 because it would not cross that wave 1. Okay, so we do understand that it's very possible to pull this low, but I do not expect it to do so, at least not right away. Okay, so to start with, there's a few areas of support that we really want to address. The first one comes in at 33 cent, and then of course as we come on down here we have a 30-cent zone. Now the 30-cent zone is also the 618, okay, that 618 retracement. So I'm going to pop that 4th wave there. It seems pretty steep at this point as well. If we actually take a look at the top of wave 3 here and we pull this down, it would be effectively a 16 to 17%, or yeah, pretty much a 17% pullback, right? So a pretty severe pullback, but pretty reasonable pullback considering the amount of gains that have been made, specifically from the bottom of wave 2 here up to the top of wave 3, which is a 35% move. So we know that we've gained pretty decently, and a pullback here is expected before continuation to the upside, of which I do think are going to hit resistance at around 39 cent. So there is that expectation that here we see a slightly larger pullback. Now, what I do think is more probable is we're going to find good support at this 33 cent if we actually pull back any lower. And the reason I say this is we are looking at some interesting moves here. We have the oversold stochastic RSI, and also we're looking at an ABC correction, right? We can see this really small A, B, and C correction. Now, this correction needs to be analyzed a little bit deeper to understand what's actually going on. So let's make that a little bit bigger here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this low point of our A wave and we're going to ride it up into that high point of our third wave here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to transpose this over into the B wave, and we're going to see what's going on. Now, what's interesting here is we have crossed that 1.382 with this wick, and we pushed back up. Now, because we've pushed up, we actually crossed that wave A already. This means that it's not impulsive down. Okay, so there's a couple of things that we need to acknowledge. Going past the 1.382 would indicate that we are going impulsive to the downside. However, because we pushed back up and we actually crossed this A wave on that journey, this actually now indicating to us that we are not going to be seeing a fourth wave or a fifth wave down. It's not impulsive down. And one of the rules is that you cannot have wave 4 crossing wave 1. Okay, so that being a wave 1, this being wave 3, then wave 4 effectively should not have crossed wave 1. So we know it's not impulsive, and therefore it's just an ABC correction, and we're recovering really, really well here. So the expectation now we've seen this ABC should actually be an ABC up, or potentially going into that fifth wave. So although I was talking about potential low areas of 30 cent, this is actually indicating to us that this might actually start to see a very, very quick reversal and a continuation and push to the upside. So we need to be mindful that although the stereotypical kind of pullback would be down in these areas, a very shallow correction here could also have been had, very much needed, in line with what Bitcoin is doing, but also defying Bitcoin, coming only down to the 2.36 or the 0.236, that 34 cent zone, just wicking down below that 33.8 area, and then continuation to the upside. So what we are watching for now is to see whether or not we are going to continue down, really kind of, I guess, consolidating around this bottom of a C wave as Bitcoin retraces, or, potentially taking us down lower and seeing this C wave go down a little bit deeper. Again, very, very possible, but not looking impulsive at this point. And although we have these really deep kind of retracements as possibilities, it's looking more and more likely that we're going to find good support up in this higher area of around 33, 34 cent. Okay, so we want to be really mindful of that. And okay, so obviously now we can see here that we are looking, pretty good. We're actually holding up incredibly well for Harmony 1, that we want to be considering where would our buy entries be. Well, these long wicks here, they actually look like they are holding out incredibly well. Basically, buyers are buying this dip rapidly, right? And as a result of it, you're seeing long wicks. Sellers are exhausted and buyers have control. Right here, you have a bit of a battle going on in this current hour. You can see how it's more of a dojo. High wick up, high wick down. The market's undecided which way it's going. Buyers and sellers, neither party have control right now, bulls or bears. So right now, this is an interesting point where we want to be monitoring that situation. It can go in either direction depending on which one of those is going to outwin the other. Obviously, we can see here we have obviously wicked down quite nicely. So we have got some pretty low targets here. The expectation shouldn't really be to go down any lower than that, but there's good support down here at 33 cents. So if we were to lose this area, then that's going to be the area that's going to most likely hold up for us. So probability wise, we are looking pretty firmly in this area between kind of 32, 34 cent, in that zone of a couple of cents. There could be some volatility, but for the most part, it's actually holding up incredibly well. So what does that mean about that fifth wave? Well, we can see that obviously coming up here and finding resistance up at 39 cent. Now, as I zoom on out of here, you can see that there's this blue line that comes all the way across here. This is actually the 786 retracement from one of our Fibonacci's on the slightly larger time frames. Now, this particular fib obviously has that it's resonating incredibly well. We're at 38.8 cent. Now, when we actually take a look at these hours that have been passing recently with this impulsive move, and we take a look at the corrections here, we can actually see that the next leg up for wave 5 on the 618 or the 1.618 is actually resonating incredibly well with that previous fib area. So we are thinking that this fifth wave is likely to kind of stop at around this point here, around 39 cent or so. So that's going to be a good kind of expectation here, and to see some form of correction afterwards that might even see continuation. So right now we are just looking at consolidation here within the next sort of few hours to 24 to 48 hours or so. before potentially starting to see a really good rise up with Harmony One once again. So for now, this actually looks pretty good, depending on your wave counts. Obviously, this is a very choppy move inside here. And again, we can look at this in multiple different ways. But it does look like we have 1, 2, potentially 3, 4, and 5 waves inside here. So again, if we actually label this up, we have this really small wave 1. We have a potential deeper wave 2 in here, and then a wave 5 up, right? So we can kind of see there are waves in here. Now, there's also an additional wave inside here. So there are lots of different ways you can kind of cut this out and find out what's going on. There would expect to be waves within waves and all of that kind of stuff. I'm not going to kind of confuse you guys. I'm not going to go into it in too much detail, but it does look like a really good, strong, impulsive move up with the ability to and potential to pull back deeper, but I do think that's not likely. I think we're actually holding up incredibly well. So we are looking for a good move to the upside. So as we come up into our daily view, here we can actually take a look at that Fibonacci retracement zone, right? And here we can see, what's going on the slightly larger time frames. Now, as we grab hold of that, we can see where that's coming in from. Let me just check. That's actually taking this low point. To be fair, I could probably actually remove that one now and really focus in on the kind of main fibs that we want to be talking about here. So on our conservative model, let me just remove that. We have, 4.236, a 3.618, a 2.618, a 1.618. Here we can obviously see, key Fibonacci areas. Obviously, this is on our conservative model. We had the big ABC down after the cup and handle, and now we had that impulsive move up. Right now, there's a lot of congestion going on, lots of noise as we try to break previous all-time highs. So a lot is on the cards right now for Harmony as we approach these key levels. And obviously, the next one on the journey, obviously we have already mopped up that 1.618, 33.4 cent. The next real milestone for us is 51.2. So we have a lot of kind of traction to kind of go here with Harmony, and we are not overbought, but we're heading up there on the stochastic RSI on our daily. So there's still plenty of growth potential here on the daily chart. Now, as we go up an additional level, we can also see that we have plenty of growth available to us here on our weekly chart, right? We have this big ABC move going to the upside. This C wave actually looks to end at about 47 cent. So again, as we come back into that daily and we talk about that 51 cent area, then we jump over to the weekly and we can see a C wave potentially coming up into 47. That could easily overwick and actually take us out into that area on the fibs. So really good stuff kind of going on here. We had our target for our impulsive move. We've hit that and we are still continuing to grow to the upside. So although we have some volatility to be expected on the smaller time frames, the weekly time frames are looking very, very good. We've got good growth potential here on our weekly chart. We are progressing quite nicely to the upside on the stochastic RSI. And on here we have that more optimistic model. We have obviously the 4.236 coming in at 96.5 cent, and the 3.618 at 83.1, and the 2.618 at 61 cent. Okay, so some good progress is being made towards those trend-based fibs as we look to complete this fifth wave. Ultimately, things are looking very, very good right now. And I think we're going to be expecting to see Harmony One, outperform quite a few assets in the coming kind of days and weeks. So it's definitely something to be aware of, and do some more research if you're not overly familiar with what Harmony One are doing. But they're doing some fantastic work, and as long as they continue that, I do expect the price to follow the fundamentals as well. So guys, I'm going to leave the video there. Hopefully you have found this useful and informative. If you have, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With that said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.